Go ahead, Pastor.
All right.
How are you?
I'm well. Hello, Mayor Adams. I'm also dyslexic, so I'm going to do my best to read the question from the table here. That is, the current trash containerization program in Hamilton Heights between 142nd and 153rd Street is a failure and unacceptable. My question is, are adjustments being made to the program for its expansion, or is it expanding as is?
I'm trying to get to the last part of the question. What was the last part?
Or is the program being expanded as is?
Got it. Okay, a couple of things. And I'm glad you said that your dyslexia. I just want to touch on this for a moment because this is important. When I was out campaigning and meeting with different people who fell on the wrong side of the law, and I asked them, I used to get in the room, and some of my crisis management team members who are here, I would get in the room and I would say, how many of you have learning disability? 80% of the room will raise their hand. Do you know 30 to 40% of the people on Rikers Island are dyslexic? We've been abandoning children, and I could have easily have ended up there if I didn't discover in college I was dyslexic. That's a real problem. So I'm going to talk about our containerization, claim. And do I have? I know you are dying at the bits to answer this question. First of all, it's not a failure. I hate rats, and if you don't hate rats, you should. Wait, hold on. We don't do that here. Then you're going to find yourself out of here. Don't disrespect me, and I'm going to show you respect. We are answering. The rule is, you ask a question, I listen. I answer the question, you listen. So don't do, this is not Congress where they yell out at the president. We show each other respect. You got an opinion, and I got facts, okay? So we're gonna containerize all of our garbage. All of our garbage is going to be containerized. If we want to get rid of the rodent problem in the city, we have to put garbage in containers. And we started with pilot projects. Anyone that knows a pilot project is you test, you figure out what's right, what needs to be modified, and then you move on. But one thing we're clear on, we can't be the last civilized city on the planet where our garbage is still in black plastic bags. We're going to move to containerize. People told me it was going to take 5 years. I said, that's too long. So let's talk about what we've done, Commissioner Tisch.
So to respond to your specific question about whether the go-forward plan is going to look like the current pilot, it's actually going to be different in a number of important ways. The first thing that's going to be different is that the containers that are in the current pilot are shared among buildings, and they're shared among all buildings on the block. In the go-forward plan, the fixed on-street containers are going to be dedicated to specific buildings. In particular, all buildings of 31 units or more. Buildings of 1 to 9 units will put their trash in wheelie bins and individual bins, and buildings between 10 and 30 units will have an option between the two models. In that way, we minimize the impacts to parking, and we also have a very predictable amount of trash associated with each building, so we can size the containers quite well. And that building will be the only building to be able to access the container. The containers will lock. We have been developing a fleet of new trucks that will lift and hoist these on-street containers. So the containers in the permanent plan will not be wheeled to the back of a rear loader. It'll look more like the trucks that you see in Europe. And so we're going much more in the direction of the European model.
So as part of the conversation, you're saying that they're going to have side-loading trucks, but that's not in our pilot today. You said that you're going to be introducing wheelie bins for the other residents that are potentially 30 or less, but that's not in the pilot today. So this is almost an entirely new program, and a question, where has this been tested? Where has this been tested in Manhattan?
So I just want to put everything into perspective. Since 1970, every day, New Yorkers, residences and businesses have dumped 44 million pounds of trash on our sidewalks. That's the amount of trash that is collected every single night in New York City. And we look around and we wonder why we have a rat problem. It's pretty obvious. 1/3 of the material in the trash bags is human food. And human food is also rat food. Over the past year, we have taken a number of very aggressive steps in New York City to play a massive game of catch-up. When we containerize our trash in New York City, we are not going to be the first city in the world to do it. In fact, we are going to be one of the last. So what have we done in the past year? No.
Hold on. Listen, we know how we do this.
So what have we done in the past year? First, every business in the city is now required to put their trash in wheelie bins. We started rolling it out at the end of the summer, and as of March 1st, all businesses that accounts for 20 million pounds of trash a day have been required to put their trash in wheelie bins. This fall, every residence in the city of 1 to 9 units will be required to put their trash in wheelie bins. Next spring of 2025, because we have to buy all of the new trucks that we have just developed, the side loaders, we are going to be rolling out the new model, more like the European model, of fixed on-street containers in all of Manhattan 9.
Thank you. A couple of things. One, the pilot that she's talking about, the extension of the pilot, no. You have your pilot, we're going to do other pilots so that we can find what pilot is best. Remember this, folks? You know what this was at first? This was an iPod. You would only be able to listen to music on it. Now your whole life is on it. People who are afraid to try are those who never succeed. You evolve. That's why you do pilots. You evolve. You see what works, and then you modify to get to where you want to be. That's how this administration is. What is the problem that people see with us? We're not afraid to fail. We're not afraid for people to boo us, to yell at us, to call us names. But at the end of the day, you're going to look at your life and you're going to see that we changed the quality of life in this city. You got to get plastic bags off the street. Now, we're going to spend the whole day with you. We heard you. We're not going to do that if we don't try. This area here, from what street to what street?
143rd to 153rd, the pilot program had a
68% reduction in rat views. 68%. 68%. And not who I call, 68% less calls in this community from rats. And we're going to keep getting there with placing garbage in containers. That's what we're going to do. That is how you keep your street clean. You'll never get rid of rats if you have plastic bags on the street. And you can shake your head, no, that's cool, that's all right. We're getting rats off our streets, folks, because I hate rats, and many of you do too. Go to the next table.